Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin. Welcome to Kim Logan Communications. We're located in the great city of Detroit, Michigan, where I have been born and raised. I did leave the city for a little while, and I attended Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama, and then I came home to my roots to give back and pursued higher education. I want to share with you some of the things that God has blessed us with here at Kim Logan Communication. We are also a publishing company, and I'm proud to say one of the books I want to share with you that I have had the pleasure of writing is called Refusing a Direct Order. This book came about because I was in an addiction. And my addiction was a shopping addiction. Shopping addiction is just as serious as a heroin or cocaine or gambling addiction because I lost control. I didn't have control over my impulses. So with that, this book came out of that addiction. But let me tell you how the title came about. I was doing workshops and seminars for my husband for the Federal Bureau of Prison at one of the halfway houses here in Detroit. And I took the manuscript to share with the men there who were on, not quite on home confinement. They were still at the halfway house. And I shared with them the manuscript on stewardship. And they said to me, I don't know what that is. I've never been to church. I don't know what stewardship is. What is tithing? And I sat there and I looked at them like, everybody knows what that is, but they didn't. So as I began to tell them the story about what I was doing and the amount of money I was spending and how I did not want to be stewardship leader for my church, my pastor, Pastor William Joseph, phenomenal pastor, who really nurtured me and helped me to move past my fears and step outside. He said, you're not in a box. You never was in a box. You are in an arena. Think like you are in an arena. You are just outstanding. So I didn't want to be stewardship leader of my church, but he said, you need to be. So I called my brother-in-law in Huntsville, Alabama, and I said, well, what is stewardship? I mean, I return stewardship. I return my tithes and offering. 10%, mandatory. That's non-negotiable. But stewardship is the support of the church, especially in the Seventh-day Adventist church, which I am proud to be. And so he said to me, let me research that, sis, and let's talk some more. And I said, well, you don't think I should be stewardship leader? He said, let's talk tomorrow. But let me say this, God has a great calling on your life. The next day, Pastor James Humphrey passed away. I couldn't believe it because we were supposed to talk that next day about whether or not I was going to accept this office. Well, I did accept the office, and I dedicated this book to his memory. So, the men in prison, if you can see here, I was in a prison. And they told me, you did the same thing that we did. And I said, well, what did I do? They said, you refused a direct order. You didn't want to be stewardship leader of your church. We didn't want to obey the law, and we were sentenced to prison. Dr. Kim, you are in a prison. And as soon as you can get out of that prison and accept God's order, you're going to see a ray of light. And once I became the stewardship leader of my church, and I did some radical things, and it's all in my book. You have to get this book. And so it's available all over the internet. And I began to see a change. And I stopped spending. I started saving. I started giving back to Christian education. I started giving and helping people and, not being stingy. I was stingy. But when you serve God, you don't want to be stingy. You want to help others. And the more you give, the more God gives to you. You can't be God's giving. So Refusing a Direct Order is a book about, let me just read this to you, a testimony of Christian stewardship, unfaltering conviction to pursue the journey. But I forgot something. Before I wrote this book, I was at a conference. I'm a professor at Wayne County Community College here in Detroit District. And Dr. Curtis Ivory was doing a lecture at one of our seminars at the meeting at Coble Hall for all the instructors. And I didn't want to be stewardship leader. I said, no, 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 no. Wouldn't you know it? What did Dr. Ivory get up and say? We all can do something. We all can be good stewards. I'm like, really? And I took out a pen and paper, and every seminar I went to, I was writing. I couldn't stop writing. By the end of the day, I had written this book. And I was so excited. And Dr. Ivory, he wrote the special remarks and words and inspiration. Call them the words of inspiration he wrote in this book. I want to thank everyone who contributed to this book and everyone who really supported this book. Dr. Henry Wright. I worked for him when I was at Oakwood University. I was his reader. And it took me 5, 6, 7 drafts to write one letter. But he wouldn't give up on me. And he said to a young lady who came to Oakwood unlettered to now have so many letters behind her name. I want to thank Dr. Henry Wright and so many others. But most of all, I thank God, and I thank my pastor, Pastor William E. Joseph, who really, really encouraged me to go all the way. And becoming stewardship leader of my home local church, out of that was birth, refusing a direct order.